Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Lab.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So today is Tuesday, and interesting action, right? Yesterday, market gapped up, after not falling on the expected jobs report, and pretty much we touched the 50-day and sold off a little bit. Okay, we've closed off highs. Wasn't such a big deal. Lots of stocks acted well, so kind of hid the fact that maybe we were rejected at that end of the range. And then today you came in and, thank goodness we were in at least the right stocks. I was in Google, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft. Okay, so, had a big gap up in Apple that closed strong. Google gave you enough time to try and figure it out. Microsoft, you had to cut it early. And Facebook also was up and then went red. So typically my rule is this. Listen, when I take overnights, I sell some strength. If it holds momentum levels, I try and stay there and maybe I add. If it doesn't hold momentum levels, I reduce what I added. If it goes red, I typically then sell more. And if it doesn't come back to green, I'm like, okay, let me wait and see. So this way, at least you're out of the way if things deteriorate, especially if there are some key levels underneath. So anyway, you go to the chart of the S&P cash. We'll take a look right here. As of yesterday, there wasn't really much to to be that worried about, with a lot of tech acting well. And then today, you got this. So the question is, do we get some more downside follow-through? Because on a day like today, when you break below some key levels, right? We broke below the 8 and 21 day, broke below 2144. Guys like me reduce risk. Okay, but reducing risk in this kind of rangy trade has been very frustrating because the next day you open up, there's no downside follow-through. Shorting into a day like today, has been frustrating also because by the time you get out of some long swift short, you have to be perfect and then chances are you're not in the money by the time the close is and you have to figure out what happens overnight. So anyway, I reduced a lot of risk. Okay, got out of some decent trades and I flipped short midday, made some money, and then I re-shorted close to the close and now I'm net short the spiders and we'll see what happens. Okay, we now have a new pivot low right here, which is 21.28, and then here's your 21.18. Okay, at this point, this ascending channel has been broken to the downside. The wedge has been broken to the downside. I think either be light long or a little short. Not heavy long and not heavy short. That's the way I would suggest going out tonight. Okay, if you look here just real quickly at the TLTs, I remember these ranges. Okay, if you remember right here, okay, when the TLTs were real tight after a long period of grinding time, it looked as if it was going to break out right here, then kind of failed. Didn't give you really that big of a clue that we're going to start selling off. And then the next day, like it was today, you engulfed a lot of the range and then boom, gap down, continued lower before obviously, rallying back up, and now look where we are. Okay, if you look at the GDX also, okay, it hasn't really happened, okay, as far as, the overall indices of the market yet, but here the same way. You had your downtrend, or your uptrend break, 50-day gave way right here. Okay, and then kind of retested it. People fell asleep a little bit here into this range, but didn't realize we're below the 21-day, below the 50-day, below the 8-day, and then pow. And now it looks like we're going to make lower lows. But there were lots of signals here. Breaking the uptrend, retesting it. Lower high, breakdown. So I don't want to see, just in case, we're still in October, and if they want to, basically break some things, I don't want to see you falling asleep at the wheel right here, okay? Because now, what are we? We are below a lot of these moving averages. Below the 8-day, below the 21-day, we're below this range, and I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I think it's just a little vulnerable. Not end of the world, and we haven't had, every time we've had this down move, open up. Down move, open up. So here we are, down move. It would be frustrating if we open up again. We'll see. Tomorrow's also Yom Kippur. Let's see what the Qs did. Qs, look at that. Not the end of the world, but in one quick swoosh, it engulfed the 8-day, the 21-day, and now it's on the 50-day. Okay, so all these little bars that, we've been maneuvering got washed out if you haven't taken trades. So we'll see what that, correlates to. The XLE came down a little bit more than you would have thought. Oil wasn't down that much, but still, still above the 8-day, still hanging in there. Here's your 21-day next. As far as trades, I tweeted this morning that I sold most of my Apple above 118. Okay, it's had a big move, and I am not long Apple overnight. But, it's definitely best in breed. Here is your double bottom. Here is your big push. Here's when I started charting a few guys again. I've been long it since here. Sold some into the strength and kind of got lucky that now you have a kind of topping tail, and maybe you get a little bit of a trade down to the 8 day. Okay, it's come a long way, and you always sell on multiple days up. Okay, it didn't hold in there, so we'll see. Google, I had overnight. I tried to buy a little bit more of it, when it broke above 816, 817, and then it just didn't have enough oomph. Okay, so when it went back below the prior pivot, what's the prior pivot? This, 817.38. Went to 1819.86. Couldn't hold above here for more follow through. The market was pressured. Came in, got out around there, and then a little bit more when it went red. And it still kind of hung in there. Still, held above 807. So we'll see if this continues. Okay, the range is still intact, but the market got under pressure. So when market goes under pressure, if you don't have to sit, you could revisit. Okay, if we open up tomorrow, we'll see. Amazon, which took 2 days off and didn't show relative strength for the first time, actually turned lower. Lost the 8 day, so now, who knows? Maybe it hits the 21 day. So if you were short Amazon because yesterday you had a nice strong day and Amazon was down, a little bit of a sell signal, and now you'll see what's next here if it could hit the 21 day. That would be actually nice because we could have maybe a buying opportunity. Baba gave you no clues, to be out of it. It basically opened down with the HK, took out this prior low, so a lot of people got stopped out right here on this low of 106.56, and now it's on the 21 day. It hasn't broke this 21 day since this entire trend has been intact, so got to be careful. If it breaks this, it could see some lower prices. It already broke a little bit of this trend here, so for me, I am not in that. Facebook, I said, has to hold 129.50 for it to be good, for it to hold this break above this spot, okay, and it didn't, so it needs time. All right, it did hold the 21 day, but 129.50 or 129.20, it got below it, and if you hung in there, went a whole another dollar below. Okay, now we'll see what's next here. Okay, it's not broken, it's not done, but just not a momentum trade because the market wasn't ready for it. Okay, the market, it gave you a little bit of a breakout and then, and then failed. Okay, matched the high here, and then what I did is I, was in it overnight. I sat there. It looked like, it tried to go, couldn't go. I sold some when it went red. I sold the rest. So didn't have to deal with this whole mess. Okay, now we'll figure out what's next here and not be at least in harm's way. And I don't like when stocks try and break out and then get a big, loose, wide range. But last time it happened, didn't amount to anything. Last time it happened, didn't amount to anything. So we'll see if this is just looser and wider. What else? Well, a lot of those other Chinese guys did the same thing. Momo, big breakout, inside day. YY, I don't even know if anyone knows what it does. Engulfed the range, came back down. So this is sloppy. When things are sloppy, you don't have to be in sloppy trades. You don't. Netflix, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Netflix has had a crazy week, where it broke above that 100, okay, earlier in, I think, what was it, on Monday? Or, no, it was last week, actually. And now we're right back here. So tomorrow you'll see whether or not we get a little red dog reversal versus spot. But above 130, hit 107, now back here. Kind of shows you that no upper flags seem to hold these days. Apple just did, but, you have to be there quick. Otherwise it comes back and then you have to, buy, I guess, the retracement. We'll see if that happens here. ACIA, upgrade happened. Still a lot of selling pressure. Still people are pissed off that this 100 level didn't hold and the underwriters were piggies and didn't spend money to get them out. So now they're all still exiting. We'll see what happens if it gets down to here. Twilio did not price yet. I haven't heard anything about it. It is holding. They tried to pull a play from ACIA by upgrading their guidance, and people didn't fall for it. ACIA bounced up, and then they priced in the hole. It didn't bounce up. So, people are probably going to be a little worried about pricing if they can't do it. The pricing might be down here if they can't bounce it off here, because the way you do pricing is you got to show a discount. So if they can't bounce this on, on upping their guidance because of what happened. Look what happened with ACIA, just to show you. We talked about this morning. Here, it bounced. Oh, increasing expectations. Boom, boom, then they priced it here. So it looked like it was a bargain because of the news. So now it's here. So that's why there's a little, apprehension, with this to see whether or not this holds or not. So we'll see what happens. All in all, most people, if they were playing for momentum, they get out here. I talk about if you play for momentum, you get out when momentum leaves. This was a prior high. Went up, wide range bar, broke. You're out. If you didn't get out there, this was your spot to get out. Should never have broke this if it was going to have upper momentum. Now it's below the 8 day, the 21 day, and now you're figuring out price discovery. A lot of these other ones, the leaders go down, so do these. And TNX. Okay, now you'll see what happens here. Does it hold this pivot or not? Okay, basically 2-day move. It should really not have got below here, and it did. So now you have to wait. Okay, Coop also. 4 down days. Look at this, a little red dog reversal today. Maybe tomorrow you get a little bit of a push, but so this gave you a little bit of a trade. So we'll see what's next here. 4 down days. I missed this one. That looks fair. Let's see what LN looks like. Whole lot of nothing still, except for it's still holding the 21-day. So you'll see if that continues. Okay, we'll see. Still hanging in there. Nice trades here. They're not too worried about a secondary, I guess, because it's the foreign market. Some of these banks did a little bit of a red dog reversal. The Goldman Sachs, actually no, opened lower, and now you'll see if it could hold here. I know J.P. Morgan was up for a little bit and then reversed. These things didn't fall apart here. Prior high came back in, holding the 8-day. See if that continues. So all in all, we'll see. I hate being short. After moves like this. I myself was long. I sold some strength. I got stopped out of some. I'm figuring, okay, maybe move down below this range. We'll get at least a retest of the bottom end, which I guess we kind of did. Came off of it. I'd love to see some kind of change here. I like to be long and I like to have multiple positions, but if that's not the case, it's not the case. At this point, we'll see. What's next here. This range got broken to the downside, came back up, rolling over below the 8 and 21 day. Here's your 200-day. You're still October 11th, so we'll see if that leads to something. It could lead to a whole lot of nothing. We'll see. That's that. I have risk down. I'm short small overnight. I probably shouldn't be in anything considering tomorrow's Yom Kippur. A lot of my longs that I was playing for momentum, I sold strength, got stopped out of some, so you don't see me there. I do have my Twitter calls, but they're calls. The Baba spread's still on, but that's been on for 2 months. I am short a little spiders, made good money short around 214.20, covered below 213, and then I added in the other close, so we'll see how that works out. I'm not going to be active tomorrow. I'm not going to be tweeting tomorrow. There's going to be no morning note tomorrow, and there's going to be no morning call or recap from me because it's Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. I need to atone from all my sins. I've been a good boy, but obviously there's always some things you can work on. And that's that. It is what it is. We'll see what happens here. Again, wouldn't be the end of the world if we get some kind of cleanse or some kind of continuity, because this back and forth range has definitely been a little bit frustrating for most traders who look for follow-through. Yes, you could buy low, sell high. You could sell high, cover low, but you haven't been able to, into too many spots, buy higher, or buy in, support, add to it, sell up. There were some spots in the new issues of a month or so ago and a few key stocks, but now it's, things look a bit more vulnerable. I know yesterday they looked constructive. Now today they look vulnerable. Well, tomorrow they might look constructive, and that's not, that's range trading, which isn't fun. We like when there's movement, and maybe today's action will lead to a little bit of volatility, which means traders can trade. I'll see you on Thursday. Have a great holiday and an easy fast if you're fasting.